So, by a show of hands, out of the people here, who has ever felt very unmotivated in any subject to try and get their work done? Yeah, not surprisingly, is actually a very common viewpoint by our young adults and our students of this generation. And part of that is because of lots of subliminal messages that we get each day. And one of them we've already explored in this class, and that's we aren't good enough, we need more. And our population continues to grow, but the people are becoming less and less motivated. People even say that our generation is more materialistic, more lazy than ever before. And the perfect answer to this is one that we're all very familiar with, and that's community service. And the great thing about community service is, one, it obviously helps the communities in a great way, provides lots of great benefits for them. But on the flip side of that, for the people actually doing the helping, it gives them lots of confidence, it gives them lots of really valuable experience in a work-like situation. And sadly, fewer students each year are actually being involved in their community, and that will carry on to the adult life, which can be dangerous. And so I believe that to counteract this lazy, materialistic view that people have about us, high schools across the nation should require community service for graduation. Let's go to my first point, which is confidence. This is obviously a huge issue in our generation today, and that is because we are constantly told what we're doing is not really going to make a difference. We can see this in voting, where fewer people each year who have the right to vote, the ability to vote, actually end up doing it. In fact, 40% of Americans on average are just not going to show up to vote, and that is because they say, I am one out of hundreds of millions of people. What is my one vote actually going to do? I might as well not even go for it. And this viewpoint, another viewpoint, which is a reality for lots of students, is that their school life is everything. And whether this is told to them by their parents or by themselves, it means that if they can't perform in school, they literally lose all their worth for themselves, and they say, I've got nothing, I literally can't do anything. And community service, one, is a perfect example that your work is not meaningless. And in a study by Joseph E. Cowan, who's a professor of education at Mills College, he found that of 500 students who he surveyed, that those doing community hours were much more likely to volunteer again, and they were more likely to be involved in civil activity, whether that's participating in local governments or voting. And in a similar study, Professor Eunice, on a Massachusetts high school which was thinking of requiring community service, found that those doing community service felt much more inclined to vote and volunteer. On the second point, community service shows that school life is not everything that's needed to make a huge impact, because whether you're struggling in school, whether you're thriving in school, when you're doing community service, you are actively changing people's lives. You are helping them to get into a better situation. You do not need all these grades to have worth. You are making just a great difference by showing up there. And this shows a direct correlation between community service and a person's personal confidence that what they do matters. And schools should be requiring this to promote this idea, because it'll potentially change the lives of millions of kids. On to my second point, which is the experience it brings. School can only really do so much in preparing you for a job. It obviously gets you the knowledge that you need, but it lacks giving you the practical work that a job has. And not being prepared for this can lead new students to struggling a lot under new responsibilities of a job, because they really haven't had knowledge or experience in a similar situation. And community service, it's not a job, but it acts as preparation for a job. It gives students enough responsibility to get them ready, and yet it doesn't come with the overwhelming pressure that a job so often does for people. And it gets them more comfortable in the work atmosphere, and this is going to be super invaluable for anyone coming out of college, coming out of high school, looking for that first job, because if they don't have this prior experience, they could end up maybe failing at their first job, and that's terrible because they'll hurt their confidence, maybe affect their future in a big way. And plus, our school's job is to prepare us for work, for jobs later on in life. So why not be taking this first step, which is in community service is arguably the surest way, the easiest way of getting students that experience in the job field. Can you imagine what would happen if our generation actually, as a whole, all the way across the country, was being involved in our community together? It would not only help our community obviously improve the poorer areas of our society, but you would have tons and tons of students who are confident, who have motivation to excel because of what they've done here, and they've seen that they can make an impact. Now obviously this idea of community service is not new to us at Valley, but I would urge you guys to try and do more hours, to not see this as an obstacle, but to see it as an opportunity to grow both within as a person and to help outside for the people, for the poor areas. And a generation of students with this much confidence, this much commitment to their community could easily accomplish great things, and community service is that first step. Thanks.